Drop a like and a prayer in chat for Turtle getting bullied on the desk for choosing to stand up for Drees, who is having a highlight day here, but Subi said it well. This is an El Clasico, a throwback to the big three of old G2 versus NRG for the grand finals of regional number 3.
And I think, Turtle, you may have a good idea of what to expect. Oh my gosh, please don't go in. Okay, it's going to be way offline. But I think there is a decent enough reason to pick G2. They have been playing quite well against NRG recently, given the history, but as we all know, it's single elimination. It comes down to this best of 7, and right now, NRG are playing like monsters, so who's to say what can happen, but what a sweet win it would be for Drees if he pulled it off.
NRG coming in after getting to watch G2 versus FaZe. Build a battle plan. Meanwhile, G2 able to ride the momentum of that win and come in hot here. A best of 7 to take the win here in the major spring split. Drees in the corner. The Cinderella story. Not even Cinderella story, but the rookie season continuing here. And gets a block out of net. Squishy now. The midfield passing to no one. Garrett G's going to try and rotate on this quickly, but Chicago's happy to pick up the ball. He's got Drees in the midfield to pass to, but runs into Squishy at the point of contact, and JNAP's underneath him will pick up control. Drees is still lingering in front of the box, but on the long clear will fall back in the third man, bounce it off the wall, sets up Chicago, who puts it onto the backboard. Justin's going to reach for this and clear it away.
Now you got to give credit to the placement of G2. They've been forcing NRG to make some quality defensive saves to get out of the boards, but NRG feel like they're just one good touch away, and they force Drees up the backboard, but he's able to make the dodge and cut one down just into Garrett G, and it's going to get sniped away off the wall. This is a tough play for Garrett G. The shot could come from anywhere, and indeed, he's just got enough time to line up JNAPs and keep it out.
I love JNAPs taking the lower percentage shot. He nailed it there, but Garrett actually chose to react to the shot rather than just dive across the empty net on the other side.
Wow.
And they'll get the save there.
Garrett G committing to that boost in the corner, really getting inside Drees' head there to understand where that dribble was played, and NRG, again, operating on a razor-thin margin of error on defense, but playing it well.
Oh, they look for the bump on Justin to get him out of position, but Drees wasn't able to get enough of a pass here. JNAPs actually, no, maybe not. No, JNAPs drops into the box, and Garrett G will get the clear. All 3 members of NRG piled up here in the corner as they put more pressure on. Here's JNAPs up for a shot, places it well, upper 90. JNAPs is shooting hot today.
Yeah, felt like something had to give when NRG all gets stuck there on the wall. Garrett G forced up to the net by Drees rotating through. JNAPs finally able to find the perfect hole in the net. Great pressure from G2.
Great pressure, and that is the second shot we've seen from JNAPs put on a dime. The first one saved by Garrett. This one, upper 90 for goal number 1, the grand finals. It's JNAPs. Oh, block Squishy here, looks for the dunk. This one going to be just wide. Now he's rotating out. Let Garrett G move in to take control. Chicago on the wall has been strong today. Pass back down to him. Shoots for the far post. And it's wide. Drees now on the rotation. Squishy demolished, and Justin will close on the backboard and take it away. He's looking for Garrett G in the midfield, but the back pass will go to JNAPs. And here we go. Round 2 for G2. Squishy on the backboard's got to touch this one and gets it away. Everyone on G2 respecting Squishy's positioning there, but here comes the zone from Drees again. Onto a backboard. Garrett reaches for it and beats Chicago.
Well, that initially looks like a big whiff from Drees, but it's really just set up so that he could try and put the pressure. Look at this pass from NRG, and G2 playing well on defense, and both teams trying to pull out some very creative plays on offense to see if they can get a defender to flinch. Chicago, middle of the net, saved away by Squishy again. I believe that gives him the Savior medal. No, it's Justin with 3, but the rest of NRG with 2 between them.
JNAPs onto the back wall with 1:45 left to go. G2 holding on to a 1-goal lead. Chicago to midfield for JNAPs. He's got Drees in the midfield with Justin kind of caught between the 2 of them. They looked for the demolition, but Justin manages to dodge the demo and pick up the ball. He's going to shoot from midfield and get a double commit out of the defenders. It's JNAPs alone in the net, but the ball stays glued to the back wall, and Justin's not able to get it out to a teammate, so they'll be able to resort themselves out on defense. 1:24 left to go. Here comes NRG. Squishy with the ceiling shot over 1, blocked by Chicago, upper 90.
Great save from Chicago, and NRG haven't really had much success in terms of keeping the ball on the orange half. They need to string together a couple of good challenges here. And again, look at Chicago just break it up. JNAPs putting Justin in an awkward spot. Comes up empty, but everyone from G2, a little bit of respect there. More than likely thinking, yeah, odds are Justin's got that. But again, they leave 1-on-3 here, and how do they buy time?
Teams trading monster challenges as we go into the final minute. Drees off the ceiling, reset up against Justin. Justin will play it low underneath him, and JNAP's able to put it behind Squishy. Justin picks up control as just Squishy looks for bumps.
Smart.
Not gonna find anything yet. Garrett G back into the box. Cleared away by Drees. Out to the midfield. 37 seconds left, and G2 trying to hold on to the lead. It pass down to Chicago. Maybe putting it back up. No, straight to Justin, who flips, holds his ground, gets the stop. But G2 continues to knock on the door in the final 30 seconds.
Man, Drees putting the pressure on him. He's got such great trajectory towards the ball on everywhere he's jumping off the walls from, putting a lot of pressure on NRG. Garrett G completely missed pass out by Squishy into the middle. Garrett G trying to buy a little extra angle on it, see if he can fake out Chicago. It's going to stall out on the goal line. Drees again just going to take that one away and force NRG to play it from their own half if they want to tie it up.
I'll watch Chicago burn time here with the flip reset onto the back wall. Makes it difficult to read, keeps them grounded longer. The clock has now expired, and Justin is going to have to work hard to get back to this ball. He will do so, and Garrett G's there, but JNaps will cover him up right in front. Excellent man-to-man coverage. G2 takes game 1.
Now that's a gorgeous game from G2. Yeah. Really, this was quite something to behold. It really doesn't feel like NRG ended up with 9 shots in that game at all. They kind of all came piecemeal throughout the game. It's definitely having to spend significant portions of time on defense, so credit to G2 for always finding a way to box NRG into their own half. That is not an easy thing to do, to shut down 3 transition monsters like Garrett, Squishy, and Justin. So quality challenge game is all that really need to be said about game 1.
Man, just a brilliant performance there from G2 on both sides of the ball. As you pointed out, I mean, this was one of the cleanest games we've seen today there, and that accuracy from JNaps is the thing that's really terrifying for the NRG fans right now. Both of his shots, money there. One of them, Garrett G was able to get in the way of, but the other one, finding the back of the net. It was the only one they needed, able to stall out the game in the final minute 2 to get them to game 2 here with the lead.
And NRG, to be fair, they really weren't too far off of stringing together a couple of nice passes. It really just came down to execution. They have a really good sense of how to dig that ball out from the side of the pitch, out towards the middle, and give themselves options. It's just a matter of finding a way to beat that last G2 man coming at him, and JNaps and Chicago both dive hard. Drees getting real aggressive in the midfield there, but still able to retain control and wrest possession away from NRG for a moment.
Very neutral challenge. And Garrett losing a critical one in the midfield. And Justin's got to just get up and take a bad shot himself. JNaps down to the corner. Justin off the back wall, straight downtown. We'll go to the caddy corner. Here's Chicago. Looking for Drees maybe underneath, or just looking to hold on to it himself. The dual threat there going to be more than Garrett knows how to deal with, and he just pushes it off to the side.
Great back pass.
Squishy. Got Garrett G in his back corner, and he'll move up now on the touch from Drees, but has to move off as Chicago challenges underneath. Now Justin in an awkward situation here. He's able to block JNaps enough to get the ball to Garrett G, who sends it to the corner. Drees and Chicago in the backfield. Reverse the rotational direction. Squishy tries to again counter it back the other way. First minute though, going to come and go with nobody on the board.
Squishy really needed to put a strong shot on net there. I think he just got up a little too close to the play before it fully developed, and Justin just trying to keep things in check in the corner and quickly broken up by Chicago. And again, NRG just lacking that little bit of execution. Justin trying to accelerate the play, and they will catch Chicago back the other way. G2 finally caught one hand too far in the cookie jar.
They did. You see Chicago was going for that midfield boost. I wasn't even there. And realizes he is overcommitted. Justin has a clean shot at the goal. Just keep the pace on that ball, and he'll get it in for free. 1-0 NRG as they look to bounce back here in game 2. JNaps on the cheat up. Justin hanging back on the well-won challenge from kickoff. Squishy gave it to him there and then put a shot on target for some defenders out. G2 down right now, but a demolition on a Squishy will change things. Pass infield to Drees, gets it over the top of one. Justin looking to get bumped in net by Chicago, but dodges it and takes it to the corner.
Oh my gosh.
JNaps, oh my goodness, G2 is smothering them in the midfield right now. They cannot buy this ball out of their half.
They might be stopping him in the midfield, but Justin is being an absolute monster around his back wall and in his own corner. I mean, he's got such fantastic first touch command right now on defense. He's a tough guy to get it by and give yourself a chance. Garrett to Squishy, and they catch Chicago again!
Same as goal number 1. Chicago's so far upfield. This one just going to bounce over his head for a 2-goal NRG lead.
Well, it's funny because I went and looked at it from Chicago's camera. It really seems like a pretty safe bet. To be fair, there's 2 or 3 cars in front of him, and none of them look like they're going to hit it particularly hard. He just lost track of Squishy right at the critical moment. He was the only one positioned to hit that ball well for NRG, and he caught just enough of it.
I'll enjoy a 2-goal lead because of it. Garrett rotating through again. Heard other analysts talking about Garrett really on board with the demo meta these days. We've been seeing him in the enemy box numerous times this series. Garrett on the outside, beaten by Chicago. Drees will try to close on Squishy in the midfield. Now Garrett up against JNaps. He'll beat him to the ball, but then get demolished. And here's Chicago to pinch it back into the corner. Garrett's going to spawn and immediately get removed again. JNaps not able to take a shot or a pass. And Squishy is happy to pick up that ball that basically gets given straight to him. And now he's got a challenge win there. Garrett G moving up the midfield, but Chicago and Drees build a wall and push it back into the NRG half.
Gotta love that communication from NRG between Drees and Chicago there. Yeah, it got punched over Drees' head, but just let his teammates call the play behind him so he knew what to expect, and he didn't panic, get in Chicago's way and cost him. So G2 definitely locked in.
There's Chicago, puts onto the backboard. Garrett G barely reaches it there on the rebound. And now tries to win another challenge. This one going to bounce slightly. JNaps will be the first to the ball, but Squishy gets a solid second touch on it. Justin flips out of net, but Chicago can't find control off the wall. They won't be able to punish the opening, and Garrett G gets it across the midfield line for just a moment. High in the air, ball has lost a lot of momentum, and this pinch is going to be just wide as Justin tries to push the issue.
Big critical challenges there from Justin. You were wondering why he kind of flipped out of net. It's because he had no boost. Fake from Squishy, trying to waste time here in the corner. NRG, I think, need a little boost, and they needed a little bit of extra time there. So instead of trying to set something up, decided to try and look for it, and they were better prepared.
1:08 on the clock. G2 got a 1-goal lead in game number 1 and just held it on until the clock hit 0. Now, yet to get in the back of the net. They got 1 minute to score 2. Justin loses the challenge into the corner. Here's JNaps, wrapping it across 2, but Squishy on the backboard will loft it out and chase it down himself.
Oh, he's in a bad
spot. By a player. Here's Chicago looking for a shot. Got all of that to shoot at. Justin can't get enough of it. Chicago puts him on the board.
Justin, he got a little too ready for Squishy to win that transition. He had 100 boost already. He was just thinking about how to go on offense, and despite a heroic effort to try and make it back, Chicago, way to take one away.
So the frame perfect half flip into boosting across, and he manages to get a wheel on it, but it's just not quite enough there. Great reaction from Justin, but still a 1-goal game now. They do still hold on to the lead. Garrett G extends this into his own backfield. That was not the touch he was looking for, I don't think. And Squishy's going to try and to stall time. 30 seconds left. Chicago past 1. Here's Justin up with Garrett G upfield, but Chicago just dunks him. Now Drees into the corner, off the wall, gets a bump. Squishy will play it off of Drees and all the way down the field. 15 seconds left. Chicago can't find it. Garrett G's got an open net there. Chicago not able to pick up the pass on the double coverage.
Wow, this is an awkward one to kind of happen. Not a bad touch from JNaps, looking for Chicago to see if they could get that strong transition and catch Justin, maybe get him in a 1-on-2, but just absolutely smothered by Squishy and Garrett G. 2-goal lead back with 12 seconds. Doable, but highly unlikely.
Massive 2v1 win there to all but secure game number 2. They're going to put in 1 for the road here. The clock will expire in either way. NRG going to tie up the series. We got a nice one on our hands as both teams now at 1 game apiece. And neither team really looking like they have a strong edge right now. This is a good series.
I don't know. I think I have to give a pretty decent edge over to G2. Yeah, NRG's the one that came out on top here, but just a product of Chicago being a little overzealous as that third man, and that's the only reason they end up winning by 2 here in game 3. So well played NRG to capitalize on a couple mistakes, but I'd be a little worried going into game 3 because while Chicago's been very aggressive in the midfield, he is consistently getting those breakup touches and on that challenge in the midfield that really preventing that NRG transition game and getting the ball on offense for them. So he's the solution and the problem at the moment.
I do hear you on that one. That, I mean, G2 minus just 2 kind of overcommitments there. We have a very different game, but only 4 shots from NRG and they score 3 goals. That sort of efficiency is either a defensive, a backfield problem, or just crazy precision from NRG here. And the bigger note for me is G2 being limited to 6 shots, down from the 10 they had in game number 1 there. G2 not winning the midfield as strongly as game number 1. NRG is definitely trying to come back and take away some of that momentum they built up.
We shall see if NRG able to make some adjustments and get themselves more opportunities, or if G2 able to recapture some of the dominance they were able to display early on in game 1 and just faltered a little bit there in game 2. Drees gets baited out, and Justin needs boost. Are you kidding me? That's the worst time to have that happen.
But look
they got
at
it
the fakes he
stolen.
got out of him, too, and then it does not going to matter as it goes back into the corner. But holy crap, that for a moment was like, has someone disconnected or players are choosing not to voluntarily not playing here? But no, just a massive mind game from all 6 players.
Saw Justin hit the brakes in reverse to go back to the boost, and you're like, oh, that's what it is? Wow. There's a very welcome clear.
Drees off the backboard to the outside. There's JNAP's pass, Squishy in the midfield. Justin coming out of goal. We'll send it towards the goal of G2. Chicago and Drees will look to get this one out of the corner. Drees taking his time on the ceiling there, but Justin matches him move for move and gets a challenge off the ceiling to keep the ball in the corner for a minute longer before G2 does finally find the clear.
You're right, though. Drees really was doing a nice job seeing that Justin jumped off the wall to try and get a big block there. So he just delayed that hit, forced Justin to expend a lot of boost to stick with the play, and now he has to be passive again and put himself back in that defender's position, and he makes another stop. You wonder why I say he's one of the best defenders by himself? That's why. He's doing it all series long so far.
Chicago. Midfield, JNAP's now up against Garrett. This one's going to ping straight down, and Drees is there. Extends it into the blue, chases it down himself, gets the flip reset, will block the ball and try to give it to Chicago, but it kind of pinballs out in favor of Justin. He'll move it across midfield. He's got Garrett G to work with now as they get towards the box.
Careful here for NRG. Again, Justin with limited boost, and it's all about these control touches. Big bump, and JNAP was playing the block, and G2 just going to stall out here despite a gold opportunity. Just a product of the situation where you can't know what's going to happen, so you take the safest line, and no one able to benefit. Chicago floater off the mark, just high.
Oh, just barely high. That is the hard part of that shot, is successfully getting up to it and keeping it under the crossbar. But what a pass play from G2, and they're going to try and go for another one here, looking for JNAP still on the far side. He stays grounded as Garrett G already had the pre-jump on him. He knew he wasn't going to beat Garrett to that ball. And now Justin across the midfield line going to try and win a 2v1. Loses it to Drees, Squishy comes in to pick up control. Now Chicago, loses control on the wall, and Garrett G will take the ball from him, keep this ball in the G2 corner.
And it's kind of setting NRG in a very interesting position here, because while Justin has been making a lot of great challenges, he's had to use a lot of boost to make it happen, and that kind of plays against that NRG method of just beat the next man, because when they try and dump a play off to Justin and he doesn't have the boost to go for it, they kind of just have to give a little bit of ground here. Big miss from Garrett G. JNAP's going to wheel back around and just punch it into the right side.
Good thing, too. I think that Chicago might have saved a shot. It's possible it was going to get saved by the defenders anyways, but what a fake from JNAP's for goal number 1 of Game 3.
Either he faked him or from Garrett. It certainly looks like a fake from Garrett G's perspective, but one way or the other, JNAP's able to take advantage of a little bit of camera surprise there in terms of Garrett G's positioning and see if NRG can find an answer. And yep, got to punch this off the wall. It's your only choice.
Yeah, no, I was commenting on Chicago quasi-saving a shot from JNAP's out of the corner right before that sequence, but honestly, him understanding that the ball was going to be saved, chooses to make a touch that's less favorable for NRG, keeps them on offense long enough for JNAP's to score. Big brain plays as Garrett G wins some challenges on the wall there, and we'll see Chicago now extend to his own corner. Reach back for this. Drops in the box for Drees. 1:26 on the clock, G2. Now tied up 1-1 series, looking to take the lead here in Game 3. Just hold on for another minute 20.
And NRG doing an excellent job now, at least getting the ball towards that midfield line, but still lacking that control once they get past it with those air dribbles, always being immediately challenged, unable to stick close to the ball and really get some of those flip resets and exercise some of those mechanics to increase their options on offense.
Justin versus JNAP's here. Justin will take it away from the wall, get it past JNAP's. Now Chicago in the corner. 3-1, JNAP's off the wall, bounces it over the top of Chicago. Drees closes in on the gap, and now Squishy looking for Justin and Garrett. 2 threats up the middle, but the ball was perfectly between them. Chicago was able to intercept it. 43 seconds left. Here's Garrett onto the backboard. Chicago's reaching for it, but gets bumped off the ball. Drees has to chase this down with JNAP set up in goal to deal with the next touch. Now Justin passing into Squishy, blocked by Justin, or by JNAP rather. Now Drees will try to stretch it across the sky. 2 players up for NRG. It's on target and in. Justin puts it through and ties the game.
What a shot from Justin. Yeah, he jumps over his teammate's head, but look at the power he gets on this one. It's much easier for him to square up. Actually, Squishy pulled off it. Justin definitely called him off. Wow. Let him take the quality line, and a bullet just by the defender. A huge late equalizer.
Unblockable, too, with the dual threat there. They see Squishy jump first. Squishy's obviously the player who's going to be making the shot. They can get a second goal here? No, Chicago gets it off the ground. With 19 seconds left, Drees tries to win one in midfield, but Garrett G will connect with Justin on the far side. Now JNAPS past the midfield. 10 seconds left. Might have our first overtime of the grand finals. JNAPS versus Garrett G goes neutral. Justin trying to close on this. Chicago through one. JNAPS down to the corner. Chicago's there for a shot, but Squishy keeps it high. Drees is going to look to just kill this down, and he will. Overtime in game 3.
Now, I know that touch from Drees doesn't look like much, but that's actually quite an intense scenario. The ball just got popped over your teammate's head, and you are, surprise, surprise, third man against Squishy Muffins, and you have to make a perfect touch to the floor to make sure you don't hand it to him on a dribble. Great touch.
Squishy's waiting for you to put it into the ground. He's looking for that read. So not a lot of options there to Drees, and he successfully gets his team to overtime. Here's Justin. Up against JNAPS. This one pitches into the backfield. Drees back out to JNAPS, who extends the play across the midfield line, and Squishy has to quickly turn on his brakes. Turn around.
Oh, bumped.
Oh, Goomba'd off the ball here. Now Drees slowing this one down, but Squishy just tackles him. He knows even if he pops it there, he's going to still get the block. JNAPS pretty far out of position over there on the far side of the field, not able to be a part of the play, and Garrett gets it past two of them. Now Justin just going for the fake play, but Chicago tackles him outright. He's had enough of the mind games today.
Risky play there from Justin. Squishy was kind of hung out to dry there, but look at him accelerate this air dribble and really ties up everyone. Chicago was really stretching to try and hold on to this and cost him everything in the tank, but NRG gave up the ground, and they get a chance to reset here. That was a heart stopper for a moment.
If Chicago didn't get that much of a lofty touch, that was going to be a guaranteed goal, even with the wide rotations from NRG, just so overcommitted into the air. They needed to keep the ball up there with them, and G2 does that so, but Garrett G not putting one on target. This one just a bit high. Drees will get a savior medal. Chicago now out. Squishy onto the backboard. Drees is up. And Justin, nice. What a challenge. JNAPS now up against Garrett G. Both players going for the mind games. Like, man, it is 3D chess out here with all these players.
NRG really trying to focus on getting that ball under control and a big clear. This is going to be a 1-on-2, assuming Garrett G can trap it. And yeah, he's not going to have the choice, but look at them try and starve the boost. See if they can box G2 in here with that boost advantage. Floater for Justin, and Drees is in a race that he usually isn't going to win. In Chicago, able to come back. Garrett G rips on target. JNAPS is there to save. Squishy trying to drop the hammer. Pass to Justin. Lower right-hand side. Oh, mama.
Watch Drees in his rotation in there. If he's got ball cam on here, all he sees is Squishy. He knows he's got to block this shot. He's up to block the shot, but he's not taking the shot. He's passing to Justin, and NRG will take 2 games in a row in the lead in the series.
On a dime from Squishy there, and Justin, pinpoint accuracy. That's the only place in that net. Drees had him absolutely locked tight, except for a little gap in the lower right-hand side. What a pass and shoot to close out OT.
Brilliant stuff there. NRG able to come back in this one after G2 took the early lead on the goal from JNAPS here. They're able to equalize, nearly put the pressure on there to get the buzzer beater, and then are able to finish things off here in overtime. I'm starting to feel the momentum swinging the other way here, Chiefs.
Slowly but surely, this is definitely the game that NRG wanted. Really had to fight a lot for the ball, but managed it beautifully. And a couple of expert shots from Justin here is enough to get the job done in Game 3. But if you're G2, I really don't think you're too worried about it. Yeah, you know that NRG outplayed you there, but you still have a solid game plan. And what's so good about it is that it is forcing NRG to execute. I mean, G2 is saying you're only scoring unless you outplay us, and that is a tough thing to do consistently in Rocket League. NRG doing it well for 1 game is good, but you still got to get 2 more, and with how well G2's been playing, they should still feel confident in their approach.
Yeah, the goals going in here from smart plays, outplays, as you said, from NRG, not necessarily flagrant mistakes from G2, so still a solid series on our hands. Chicago and Drees dual threat and well placed. Oh my goodness, Drees will get, I believe, his first goal of the series to give G2 the lead.
Yeah, Justin kind of thinking about going to challenge there in the midfield, puts himself on a little bit of no man's land. He didn't want to concede any more space to G2 than he had to, but as soon as that ball got floated up high, he was like, oh, I'm just in an awful spot, aren't I? And indeed he was. Had no time to get back and cover a shot to the top of the net.
Man, that is a momentum-changing goal, too, with that being such a huge commitment of resources, of boost and players in the midfield. You have to put the shot on target. Not only does Dries place it perfectly, it goes in for goal number 1. G2 are going to be so excited about that high-risk, high-reward play.
Ooh, awkward.
And they continue off here.
Couple of good challenges from NRG, but again, as per usual, as you might expect, G2 all over him on the midfield line, as has been the case all series long. Justin alone in the goal, and Justin, what a defensive stop. Again, able to break up the G2 goal scoring opportunity.
Man, Justin dodging the demo by driving up the back of the goal, and then getting the save off of it as well. What a play. Keeping it to just a 1-goal game here, and now NRG just holding the midfield line and just waiting for G2 to give them the ball. So far, they're doing well. They're slightly better positioning on the pitch, giving them more and more opportunities.
Gotta control this.
Oh, Dries is up for this one, but Justin trying to go underneath, and the ball gets killed. And JNAP's now looking for the bump on Justin. Justin dodges the demo and gets the clear, and he'll steal the boost in the corner. Justin doing everything here to set up Squishy.
Yeah, and NRG really just seeing if they could find a way to weasel one out there into the middle. They knew they weren't going to be able to stay for very long, so that's why after Justin hit that pass, he instantly ran back on defense. He knew there was no chance to hold pressure there. It was just seeing if maybe they can find something to put together there, but it was the one and done for sure.
Man, the dodge and the demolition to me is the best part of that play. Is this one nearly gets set up for Justin on the equalizer. But he's out. There was the play, I think Dries had the ball in midfield, and JNAPS is like, hey, I don't need to do anything other than demo Justin, and this is a free goal number, or free tire, or free goal number 2, excuse me. Justin dodges the demolition.
Wait, he gets to score that? What?
No way! Tie game!
He gets to score this one for free after him and Garrett G have a little bit of miscommunication there in the midfield. Just takes a skip off Chicago's nose there. I think JNAPS wasn't really expecting that to just go straight over his head off his back wall there, and Justin made the adjustment in a split second. What a recovery goal, and not going to have a chance to score another one on kickoff, but NRG will take an equalizer any way they can get it.
Oh, they nearly got another double tap to take the lead. Now JNAPS pushing them down the other way on the counterattack. Here's Dries off the ceiling. Flipper set to work with. He'll use it immediately onto the backboard. Follow-up from JNAPS can be blocked by Justin, who now looks for the bump by Chicago, who takes the shot. Garrett G has to react at the last moment. Makes the save. JNAPS clearing it the other direction, just keeping NRG's heads on a swivel, looking up, and is it enough? Oh, just barely wide. Squishy had the lane covered up, but Dries' shot going to still drag defenders left and right, to and fro. NRG having to play off their back heels, and finally they'll get a clear so they can breathe.
Yeah, they were strapped for a boost there. That was a huge clear from Garrett G, and even though they probably won't be able to stay on offense for very long, Justin's in charge of just buying time to make sure that they have boosts so that situation doesn't happen again. And just missing the trap there. I'm not sure why he decided to pop it up, probably thinking someone was coming to challenge him, and awkward ball from Squishy and contingency touch from Garrett G. Let's buy a little time again.
No, the backfield was open. Garrett G doesn't make that touch. That's a go-ahead goal.
Yep.
Chicago through 2. Here's Dries to drop down to JNAPS on the pass play. Blocked by Squishy. He read the pass play before it started to happen, and now Garrett G setting up Squishy onto a backboard. Everybody off the ball. JNAPS retreating back in. Will stall it out in the air, but still dangerous as Garrett G gives it to Justin. Places it onto the backboard, and here's Squishy in to keep the play going. Can he find Garrett in the midfield? Justin's rotating to the far side. He goes for it himself. With 1:05 left to go, still tied up at 1 apiece.
Aggressive.
NRG trying to get on match point with the pressure in G2's half.
Oh, and that challenge will do JNAPS a lot of favors. Look how aggressive Squishy is. He saw that heavy touch, instantly decided to try and close the distance rather than fight from their own half. And Chicago might have caught Justin one step too far. Oh, of course not. Who am I kidding?
Oh, Garrett G. Zone, but still makes the save. Connects with Squishy on the pass too. Such efficiency from NRG, and he'll get the goal! 35 seconds. This was like 4 touches from save to goal.
Great transition from Squishy, knowing he was going to get challenged, so instead of trying to score it, his whole focus went to just getting up to that ball as fast as he could and making sure he didn't hit it awkwardly off that back wall. He just wanted it to come nice and flat out and over the top of that last man, and the focus on the speed to get there is what made the difference.
Oh, but here comes G2, looking for the equalizer. 28 seconds left, the game not over. Dries cranks this to the empty corner. Gets midfield boost as well. Going to have a completely empty left wall here. Chicago now onto the backboard. Again, a little bit high. JNAP's not going to close on this one. Puts this one above the bar just and has to get up quickly. Drees away. 8 seconds left. NRG looking for the nail in the coffin. Drees away. 4 seconds left. 2 on the clock as Squishy keeps it up. Looks for Garrett G onto the backboard. And now he's going to look to kill this one straight in. Oh, he's going to bounce on the line and tease him. NRG with maximum efficiency win game 4 and now 1 away from the major title.
Full team effort there from NRG to get the job done again, but to be honest, it's 4 saves from Justin that are your MVP for me here in this one. Still, from series game 1 to now, still breaking up massive opportunities for G2 and buying so much time for his teammates to get back. And a timeout for G2, but I'm sitting here thinking, again, your approach is good. You've got the right idea. It's just NRG's nailing the plays that they have to nail to beat you. I'm not sure what adjustments you can make. I like G2's approach here. They've lost 2 straight, but I think it's good.
I think like picking the spots where they commit to offense more might be a little bit better. Like rotate a few more times in the midfield and get JNAPs into that shooting lane. Only 2 shots from him here in game 4. We saw in the game number 1 just how accurate he was right now. Let JNAPs be that leader on offense. But I'm with you. When that last go-ahead goal, Garrett G is getting zoned in net. He manages to dodge the demolition, jump for the ball, and not only does he make the save, he also clears the ball / passes the ball 3 mechanics-ish in 1 touch up to Squishy, who then 2 touches later gives the ball back to Garrett G for the goal. And like 4 touches between a shot on your net and the goal, that level of efficiency, there's no coaching that's going to get you around that. I don't know what like Johnson's got his work cut out for him here.
It was absolutely an inspired transition to close out that match, but this is a tough one here for G2, and I think it all comes down to their ability to trap the ball on their way out of their own half, because now it's NRG who are getting real aggressive as that 3rd man in some of these situations. That weird little hiccup is also the difference maker, and there's that double tap from Squishy and Garrett G racing up behind him knowing he needed the support. So your G2, your best opportunity is trap the ball, force a challenge on your own half, but at the same time, I think NRG, while Chicago and early on in the series, G2 as a whole, we're definitely getting the better of the challenge game. When NRG are starting to get their hands on their challenge game, they're going into very favorable positions. It's a very positionally sound approach to the challenges for NRG, and it's bailing them out of a lot of awkward spots.
They've been playing like the team we learned them to be long ago, but JNAP's here in the first 13 seconds going to get the first goal of game 6.
This one will work. I mean, Chicago, it's just seeing Garrett G is a little too floaty. And Squishy, he's thinking there's no way JNAPs is going to shoot this right at me, right? He's obviously going to punch this towards the middle or up into the corner. So gets a little bit antsy, jumps early. JNAPs goes right where he was. And maybe 2 on the kickoff. Shimmy shake on Garrett G. Stalls it right there. Oh my gosh. Recovery, and there's Drees. Drop the hammer on him. 2-0 G2.
What did Jazzo tell these players? 2 goals in 20 seconds here, as they just force the most neutral challenges I've ever seen. 1, 2, 3, and the 3rd one hits the back of the net. G2 up early in game 5.
Good start for G2. You could not ask for a better position to find yourself in a must-win game. A nice early lead. Get yourself back into the series. Now just, how do you hang on to it?
Oh, they're looking for more challenges. NRG. Similar situation here, a similar kind of like series pattern from what we saw up against Rogue, as Garrett G did get a flip reset there, and JNAPs will get the block, but Rogue took game number 1 and looked to be in solid control, and then NRG was able to run things back as the series went on. They were just more and more dominant. But G2 trying to change that story here with the early wins, and there's some bumps and shots.
Again.
How does he do this? He somehow dodges the fullback and still makes the save.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. You'll be hard-pressed to find a guy better in a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 than Justin.
I don't know. I was going to say, like, you just got to demo him. You just got to take him off the field. But they're trying that.
They tried.
They're literally trying to demo him. And he's successfully evading all of that. But NRG now, all the defense in the world, not going to give them a win here in Game 5. They got to get active on the offense. We've seen every single one of them step up in that department. Double commit out of goal, but Justin and Garrett G has to pull all three of their players up to midfield. They've got a lot of options as they push here on the offense. Chicago going to get it through one. This neutral challenge. Squishy slams on his brakes and sends it to the goal. JNF has to dive for a save.
That's actually a surprisingly excellent shot from Squishy from such an awkward position. I mean, it's that hard cut as your wheels are skidding right when you land and still able to time it perfectly to just float one towards the top right corner, see if you catch G2 sleeping there. Nice opportunity and well defended. Garrett G trying to poke one off the nose there. Just mistimed it a little bit, and G2 doing nicely to stall time off the clock since their 30-second two-goal lead began.
Squishy reaching for this, but maybe just a zonal threat trying to bait G2 up to the ball. Ultimately, G2 will emerge with control in enemy territory. Chicago and the third man gets enough of a touch to bait Squishy and to pull Squishy onto the wall. But here comes the rest of NRG. A one challenge drops this one towards the box, and Drees waits for the bounce before chasing it down, trying to win the challenge against Squishy. He'll do it well, and here's Chicago to help against Garrett G. He'll get the demolition onto Garrett G, but not before Garrett put it into the G2 half. Now Drees into the corner with Garrett G in front of him. The rest of NRG lined up behind, waiting for challenges. Garrett G picks up his boost and just tight rotate to stay in the first man.
Awkward touches here from NRG. This is kind of damage control. There's not a lot of, hope behind these touches. It's kind of just, well, we don't want to give them the ball, so we might as well try and keep it.
Well, they're a little, it feels like a little out of sync. That's Garrett G on that last pass, put it into the corner. I think really believing Justin was going to be moving forward on that, but Justin maybe out of boost or something here. Somehow Justin gets bumped, but doesn't get bumped. Just still manages to get up and get the save there.
Chicago. Love the challenge angle there.
Oh, we got another one. Here's another follow-up, but the second challenge going to be there, and Justin is careening in. More momentum, going to push this ball through the back line, and JNF has to take it to the backboard. JNF's and Drees on the backboard. JNF needs to hold on to this ball, and he'll get it past the midfield. Oh, he's got it through the backfield. Justin on the rotation is going to have to find the block, and he gets the fake on him. Oh, nearly drops it to him, but Garrett G covers up the front of the box, and now Justin versus Chicago. Takes the shot. Chicago just builds a wall. Garrett G on the follow. Runs into Drees. G2's defense looking hot.
Big play there from Chicago, understanding that the longer Justin held onto that ball, the less likely it was going to be that he could get a strong touch back across. So he committed to defending the line on net, made a big block, and bought more time for G2 to get back and Drees to make the secondary touch. NRG going to really try and thrust hard here. The demo and the fake from
No! They got another demolition. They can still do this. Here's Justin. No, but he misses it off the post. It happens to the best of them here. And NRG, after doing all the work, still have a 0 on the board.
I mean, I don't know how Justin didn't score that, but yeah, that's game. We can move on.
All right, they know it too here. We'll see Chicago into the corner. Squishy's going to try and find a block there, but yeah, man, they finally Justin hit him with a brilliant fake. Squishy gets the demolition on the goalie. Still just can't quite get around the ball, and the post does what it does best and just shatters your hopes and dreams. Can I get one here at kickoff? Okay, all right. 5 seconds left. Not giving up on it as they should. Props to them for not giving up after the tilting situation.
You gotta like it. You gotta like it. Sticking with that one, knowing that, all right, 5 seconds, we've done it before. Let's just go smash this one in and see if we can make something happen.
Look for the cheat up.
Very passive.
Actually, they hang back, looking more for the fakes.
Oh, it doesn't work!
It's the posts that are the MVPs for G2 here in the game. Wow, Chicago to flip over. Upside down smiley face on that one. G2 take a win, and they thwart match point.
They know they checked out right there. JNABs, Chicago, they all kind of did that. You put your hand on your forehead, you kind of start laughing to yourself like, oh boy, we checked out of that one.
That was it was interesting because like the kickoff formation comes in. You can't go for a fake kickoff given the one diagonal. So I expected the cheat up out of NRG. I think G2 did as well. So NRG one step ahead in the rock, paper, scissors. Now let's hang back. Let's let the passes come around, but just barely wide on the long shot. A lot of green he's got to cover there on that artillery. So we'll see us going into game 6.
Well, could have been something beautiful, but instead take a moment, stretch your shoulder blades, because everything should be pretty tense here if you're watching or playing. Take a deep breath and right back into the mix of things.
NRG trying to get match point here. Actually, on match point, I don't know what I was thinking. I've made some mistakes in the words I have said recently. Squishy now through here. 1 game away from winning is NRG. That's Justin and Garrett G.
Wow.
Clear this away. Here's JNAPS to turn on this. Oh, it gets the mind games. The fakes on him off the crossbar, and Justin will clear it away.
He almost own goaled it there, and Justin, he was with no boost. He is forced to challenge like this, and again, it's that game management approach to how they challenge the ball that's buying NRG all these extra opportunities to get themselves back into position. Drees real aggressive, and Justin just slaps it out of the air.
We had 2 goals from G2 in the first minute. Aggressive kickoff strategies paying off in dividends for them. Here's Chicago to put this onto the backboard once more, and Garrett G will push it out to midfield. G2 holding on to ball control right now. Squishy's demolished in his own half. Drees will look for a long touch upfield. Squishy on the respawn will actually be the first man in here. Chicago tries, but Squishy gets it off of him. JNAP's onto the backboard, and Justin sends it. And just look at it. The ball was straight to Chicago, and Squishy's able to cover him up. Finally, NRG break out of their own half.
Justin's got to chop this down. JNAP's indeed going to make it hard for him. Garrett G, actually not a bad play to have that one miss your car and let it float into the corner, give you the second look on recovery, but NRG struggling to really put a transition together. It's very disjointed. Dree's going to eat him up back the other way.
G2 in the upper 90 right now. Look at that. Oh, no shot. Squishy's never hitting that there. Drees lighting him up here. Drees, again, the continuation of the rookie season here, coming in as a replacement of Rizzo, now playing in the grand finals of the last regional major of RLCS X, trying to get that win. He's such a solid validation that G2 made the right choice.
It's been a phenomenal performance for him so far. As another well-played challenge from him to pass it off to Chicago. G2, though, don't think they really have the people in position. As Squishy coming back the other way, and Drees in charge of buying time once more.
Number 2, JNAPS will cover it up. Now NRG's turn to get on the cycle. Holding it down on offense here, Justin. Just with a decal change. Pulling out the tuxedo mobile. Garrett G onto the back wall, and Squishy's up for this one. Defense a little bit haphazard. He tries to back pass to Justin or just play across to it, and it goes behind Justin, so Justin has to adjust pretty quickly here. We're at halftime, though. In one of the more midfieldy games, rotational games we've had in the series. As G2's holding on to a 1-goal lead, trying to force Game 7.
A couple of misses there on G2's own half. I mean, extra chances for NRG to stay up there, but thankfully for them, NRG really not able to string a couple of passes together. Yeah, they're getting the one touch out to beat a G2 player, but it's rarely set up to a teammate. That one for Garrett G, but as you see, no one down in front. G2 will remain 1 up.
Chicago catches this ball. Squishy was trying to clear out the corner. Drops to Drees here, and he gets it over the top of Garrett G. Justin's got to reach for it and makes the save, but he's going to be very low on boost and in an awkward situation. Still gets the ball past JNAPS. A huge win. And G2 won't be able to press the very tiptoey defense from NRG. Now touching the corner. 1:35 on the clock. Still the 1-goal lead for G2. Outfield pass to Justin. He'll go to Garrett G now onto the backboard. No one's there to help him, but he couldn't get the double tap. Ball out to the side. I believe Garrett G expected a G2 defender on that back.
Huge save there from Garrett G. Squishy, or Justin, excuse me, really expecting to get that touch there, and Drees wise to let this ball roll so we can force Squishy into the challenge, and he's not able to finish the job. Gets it right on the line, pass to Justin, floater above the net, easy save. Not easy save! What? It was easy! Chicago just whiffed. I think he had no boost.
Mechanical error here?
Oh, no! Even worse, got that little ghost hit. It's where those wheels just kiss the ball. You see the sparks, but you just don't get the power on it. Just rolls right off, and a freebie to NRG.
Feels bad, man, but Chicago's going to look to get it back here on kickoff. Into the final minute. And NRG 1 goal away from putting away the last major. Chicago Down and away, Justin on his backboard will pick up control. Chicago's bearing down upon him and will win the challenge. Garrett G right behind him, close succession. Justin has to connect with Garrett. What an extension of the corner. He's going to take a nasty bounce. He's going to chase it down. Chicago out of the corner will pick it up.
Oh, what a catch.
Justin stalling it in the midfield. Just the masterclass on solo mechanics. Squishy going to try and beat Drees here to the ball, but he's not going to. Chicago towards Garrett G in the backfield. Will clear it away. 25 seconds left. Tie game.
How aggressive G2 are playing, just forcing Garrett G to get that ball away before he met his grisly demise on his goal line. And I think the last chance might belong to G2 here.
We'll see. Tied up. 0 seconds as possible here. A bump off the ball. And now, the clear. Drees gets a pass him. He's got enough boost to reach this. He might have enough boost to work afterwards, but there's a touch. And now one-on-one, Chicago goes into the ground. Overtime in Game 6. 1 goal away. NRG, if they take it, they're the champs.
Tough to catch that ball cleanly for Chicago at the end of regulation. Headed full speed. Garrett G to himself, trying to close things out. JNAPS defended nicely on the back wall.
Chicago now taking the shot. JNAPS looks for the zones on the goalies. Drees now through one, Squishy. One stop. And Justin, NRG very much trapped on defense here. The 2v1. They're not able to quite gain control of this ball in time to punish the rotation, but Garrett G now onto the backboard. And a long touch from Chicago. Puts it back to midfield.
Again, Justin, so focused, always ball control. Pass into the middle. Here's Squishy. Chicago, what a recovery. The initial miss turned into a gorgeous stop.
Wow, they managed to get out of that one, and this shot looks good. Squishy blocks it. Garrett G was up for it as well. Here's Chicago for the shot for the win. No, Squishy coming out of net makes another stop. JNAPS gonna trap this one, looks for the pass to Drees. It's gonna go back to him off of an NRG bumper, and he'll take his time picking it up. NRG now gonna start bearing down on the net. Chicago puts this one back in front. Squishy's there, traps it. Garrett G wants to move up, but he can't because Justin's in front of it, and Justin out of boost. It's just buying time for Garrett G to find the best touch he can as he moves out of his box.
Well-managed game there from Justin. He's trying to capitalize on that awkward touch from Drees in his own half. Floater from Garrett G. Chicago forced to buy time. It's Justin. He's going to knock it down to Squishy. No, he's going to shoot. Squishy is going to have to wait his turn. Let Garrett G cycle through. Oh, you thought for sure that was going to get dished middle.
If he passes to Squishy, I think it's the game. But Justin chooses to take the shot, and it's slow enough. Chicago can get the double save. 1:38 into overtime. Drees with a miss on the wall. Here's JNAPS to pick it up. G2 have to score if they want to stay alive. Demolition not going to help things. They'll bump it through JNAPS. Actually, Chicago being demolished might actually work out in their favor as he spawns in the fortunate corner, and he'll win the challenge without contest. Now off the ceiling, flip reset into the ball, and then chase it down. He's got no more boost to work with. He's just going to fall back down. It's going to bounce on the wall. Here's JNAPS for the win. It's back onto the backboard. Off the backboard again. Couldn't find it. Chicago can't get through Garrett G. And now Squishy just falls back off the ball. The ball will be bumped. Pool back pass off of Drees. NRG, get out of a sticky one.
Quality effort there, JNAPS. I'd love to see you have a couple more takes at that. That was brilliant. And Drees just needs a little help, but it's going to be Justin needing help from Garrett G. And G2 really putting NRG through their paces on defense here in OT.
Big misses. Here's Chicago. Up against two players. Can't get it through him, and now an empty backfield. JNAPS has to close on this ball while keeping the ball out of his net. Justin will win a challenge, or neutralize a challenge anyways. Now Garrett G out of the backboard. This one's super dangerous. Drees will clear it away.
Oh, bad.
Difficult ball to reach. Big props to Drees on that one. And this one's stretching the distance. Justin will make the stop.
Ooh, and Justin real aggressive there. Now it's Garrett G all by his lonesome, and Squishy's going to bail him out. Float that one. That's a forced touch. He has no other option that really gets the ball away safely. Drees, chance to close it out. Squishy well closed. Definitely recognizing that danger early.
Garrett G, if you move down, Squishy going to get a bump on JNAPS, and Drees also loose, but they'll still manage to get back out. Build the picket fence in front of their goal. Chicago with a flick over one. 3:20 into overtime. NRG just looking for that golden goal.
Garrett G expecting G2 to be a little bit quicker to challenge him. Kind of just dumped the ball off to Drees there, but one way or another, they recover nicely. And Justin again breaking up that G2 transition game.
Drees got back to that one. JNAPS, Squishy blocks him. What a flip reset pass, but it's still no good. And now Squishy into an empty backfield. Can he turn on this ball enough? Drees will get back around behind it and get the clear to midfield. And it's past Justin as well. Garrett G, the last man standing here for his team. He'll get one. One gets dunked into the box. Squishy. No, Drees misses an open net. 3:57 into minute number 4, and Justin's breaking down the field, looking for the counterattack.
Oh, Squishy and Garrett G double commit there with the demo. Justin's got a hustle, 1-on-2, and look at him just get away with that. Oh my gosh. Golden opportunities twice now for G2.
NRG also with a small opportunity in the middle of it. The defense is starting to become a little bit more amuck as the series goes on. Chicago slowing this down up against Drees. Now in the midfield for Justin versus JNaps. Send high.
Free ball.
Garrett G. Squishy now. We'll see Chicago take it off. Look for Squishy. JNaps gets over the top of him. Drees versus Justin. Justin will the ball first and get the clear, and now looking for a counterattack as he picks up the midfield boost on the backboard. And Chicago will win that one. Garrett G. No, Drees beats him to it. Can he get to this ball in time? Squishy in the corner. Back out to JNaps. The pass is too far.
That was the right idea, though. Drees trying to execute that pass with speed, so his only choice is to punch it off that angle so it kicks down hard and beats the defense back. Unfortunately, kicked out instead of straight down. Otherwise, G2 had him dead to rights.
Well, they played an entire extra game of overtime here. Oh, JNaps' shot still wide. Justin gets the pinch out, and now looking for the counterattack. Into Squishy in the midfield, blocked by G2, but can they sort out the clears because they were collapsing back very quickly. JNaps holds on to the ball in the corner. He didn't get challenged very much. And Justin will try to beat Drees here, but what a game back and forth as we go into our third period. Here's Squishy to win it all. No! Blocked by Chicago. You gotta be kidding me.
How does he not drill that? Justin trying to get the big dunk as JNaps clears it out. Both teams just unable to press the one challenge through that you feel like should absolutely be a gimme in this situation a couple times now in this overtime.
Justin up, beats Drees, Squishy's here. And now Garrett having to play with this wall so much, though, they couldn't kind of get around the ball. Now Squishy through one. Garrett G up against Drees. Drees makes the save. Drees out on the dribble with Chicago in the midfield. He gives the pass to him. It's very high, and Chicago a little bit low on boost. Uses all of his resources just to touch the ball once. Now Justin through one. Reaches back to this ball, gives it to Garrett. And Drees isn't really able to help his team situation that much, but I don't know, fakes the team off the ball. Garrett G will pick up the ball in his corner.
Great recognition there from JNaps coming out of his own goal line, seeing that pass develop before it happened, and NRG also very committed to making sure that they don't get boost starved here. There's a ball towards the corner. First priority is always that boost, as big demo from Drees is going to open up a small gap in the rotation for NRG, and they will utilize it to hold on to possession.
They were able to get Garrett G forward on it. He felt like he had to move forward and not just give G2 that much time uncontested with the ball. Justin with a miss. Garrett G will able to cover it up. Breaks the ball on the ground. JNaps gives the ball back to Garrett G now. And he waits for the touch for JNaps again. Drees will finally get it past Garrett G, but just one step ahead the whole way as Squishy reaches for the ball again, bouncing dangerously through the box of G2.
Squishy missing that boost steal. Could have been big. Lets JNaps just punt that ball away, and big reset for both teams there.
Justin and Garrett G both up for that. Chicago onto the backboard. No one there to take the shot, though. Squishy looks for the dribble out and gets a neutral challenge. Garrett G bumps JNaps off the ball, and now Justin just sends one to the goal, forcing Drees to make the save, and he'll do so just fine, but Garrett G has the read. Now Chicago through one. Squishy up. He's got Justin in the midfield if he just get the pass to him, but Drees intercepts and holds onto the ball. Flip reset up to midfield. Look at G2 go.
What an overtime. Almost 8 minutes now, and chance after chance after chance. Chicago's just stuffs one against the back wall, and JNaps probably going to have to let that one go. Drees not willing to give up on the play just yet. Pokes one down, and Justin waiting very patiently at the goal line. Safely out to Garrett G, and is this the end?
Oh, they try, but he's not able to wrap the ball towards the box. Now Chicago out to midfield. Oh, and a miss from Drees. Drees is too far on the ground. Justin's got him read a little bit more quickly, but then the second challenges go neutral, and JNaps will win the final.
Oh, he has no boost? Are you kidding?
Squishy onto the backboard, and nobody's home. No, Drees gets up there in time. And into nearly 9 minutes now. Winning this overtime feels like it's the series. You could win this game as G2 and still have to play another one.
Oh, is that? No, it's too far, and great control there from JNaps to take that with him up the backboard. Truly a delicate hand required on defense from both teams as Justin kind of flats one right into the middle, and look at him recover the big demo. Now it's one-on-one. Make it one-on-two. Garrett G pops it hard towards the net, and Squishy with a chance to close it out. This is a tough double tap, and Chicago stuck there on the backboard, going to take it away.
There is nothing you can do about Justin. before he made that brilliant push, he had been demolished. That put him on the back line, and then as the only NRG player in position to make the saves, does more than that, sets up the offensive drive.
Oh, what a block.
Such brilliant play as this block could create a no-scoring opportunity for G2 into the 9th minute.
Huge block from Chicago. Allowed them to get the boost steal. They have to feel comfortable in their position right now. It's NRG who are kind of stretching themselves right now to get boost and get back in position.
Into this corner. RG up for it. Zone under the goalie. JNap's not able to put it on target. Squishy versus Trees in the corner. Justin now up for it. That's Chicago. So I wonder if at any point fatigue will start to kick in.
Oh no, you're wired. You're locked in an overtime that goes this long. It's only after it ends that you kind of go, oh boy. But
you sure hope so.
Out.
It's just such a long period of time to maintain pinpoint perfect accuracy.
Justin!
You're kidding! Squishy gets bumped and then still makes the save. Here comes JNaps, not a shot. Justin gets another savior medal here. Justin's gotten 6 saves in this game.
That miss from Drees might be the reset button that NRG we're looking for. Pass to Squishy!
That's the series! Yes. Oh, Squishy puts it in. Finally, the mistake opens up 10 minutes and 22 seconds into overtime, and NRG are the champions.
Oh, and JNaps was trying to continue to be that aggressive third man. He went for that, seeing Drees miss. He was thinking, okay, it's fine, close the gap, keep him boxed in. Did not realize he was absolutely crushed on that race to the ball. And Justin, an absolutely stunning grand final performance. What a show that guy put on the defensive half.
Oh, a near perfect play there from Justin as he puts up nearly 1,000 score. Actually kind of surprised he didn't, given how long that overtime went on for. 3 games they had to play here in Game 6. You might say, oh, we didn't get to Game 7. You got to Game 8, okay? So be okay with that. My goodness, though, what a performance. And NRG are your North American major winners.